Hi everyone, Hawke here, and I'm going to be talking about why the right does not understand the left. Now, it all boils down to a simple thing of ideological difference. One being that the right seems to want to believe that everyone has these numerous ideological goals, beliefs, and philosophies that will help control a nation or run a nation or, control day-to-day lives. Whereas the left have one sole ideological goal, which is violent revolution, which is why you see them pick up weapons and march through the street for any reason, any justification. And this is where the right fails to understand. Now, I've seen a lot of people talking about the LA riots and trying to figure out why they're waving Mexican flags, why they're rioting in their own homes, why no one's doing anything. And the simple answer is they are hoping it starts a revolution. That is it. That is the simple fact of the left wingers in these protests believe that if they can get enough people, get enough violence, get enough weapons onto the streets, they can have an armed revolt. And it's so mind-numbingly simple that I'm surprised that a lot of right wingers aren't talking about this. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that's a bit over the top, but it's not. The left wing is constantly in a state of revolution. If you read Marx, Leninism, Stalinism, Trotskyism, it is always about the forever revolution. They are always after this. And it's mind-numbingly simple to see. They go after any issue that they believe can give them justification of kick-starting something, violence, riots, etc., is what they latch onto. They latch onto the equal rights movements, trying to get that to start and flare up. I mean, even something as simple as gaming. And this is something that I've noticed, especially when it comes to interactions, and why I said in the previous video that debate was never a thing, it never existed between the left and the right. And I'll use the gaming as an example. Right-wingers went into the culture war with gaming and media thinking this was just a battle for entertainment, that they were just trying to fight for control of what goes into video games. Now, that's what the right went in to the culture war with. The left were just going into that to push forward with their goal of revolution. They were hoping to create games that were so political that if you opposed it, that would give them justification to go on the streets and march and protest. And these protests would eventually turn violent. It's why there's the supposed trans genocide, which is something that's not happening, but the left latches onto it because it gives them an excuse to be violent. Now, people are probably going to say, but not all leftists are violent. Well, of course not. But their ideology is. And the more people start to realize that the revolution is the sole goal, the more people will realize why things are happening. It is why, when it comes to any sort of debate, the left wing lies, cheats, and generally ignores facts. They do not care about the truth. They do not care about winning an argument or even having an argument. What they care about is being able to justify in the future lining you up against a wall and putting a bullet in your head. And that is it. That is the sole thing that they are interested in. Now, you can come across and say, well, what about the philosophical debates that people had? These do not exist. There is nothing in there beyond revolution. And once the right starts to realize this, we can start moving forward with how we combat it. You cannot have a general discussion with a leftist, especially an activist of the left. You cannot talk to these people who, in their own minds, are waiting for the excuse to kill you, your family, and everyone you know in the system that they do not enjoy, the system that they wish to overthrow. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why do Democrats like Gavin Newsom and Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, why do they support this? Well, it's simple. Most leftists are delusional enough to think that when the revolution is finished and the world is up for grabs, they will be the ones in charge. Gavin Newsom believes that when the dust settles, he will still be governor of California. Kamala Harris believes that she will still be in some position to take control of the nation. Clinton, the Democrats, Waltz, all leftists, even Hassan Piker, all of them believe that once the dust settles, they will still be in the same position they are. It's why the news stations don't report on what's happening. They still believe there'll be the news after the revolution. They never believe that they'll be the ones targeted as well. As shown in Portland in the early 2020s, when the Mayor Wheeler's house was firebombed, these activists and anarchists and left-wing crazies will target everything that they believe is against their new utopia. So, when you come into this situation, especially with the LA riots and future riots, which will happen, just know that revolution is what is on their mind. They do not want to sit down and talk. They do not want to negotiate. They do not even want to argue their points. They just want to pick up a weapon and smash your head in. And that is why the right does not understand what is happening. You have people like the Lotus Eaters who, even though their content is great, still fail to grasp the severe nature of what is happening. They seem to believe there's some sort of deeper understanding to why they are doing what they are doing. The reality is, it is revolution. It is a revolution in which they are hoping to be able to justify in the future their killing and murdering of their opponents. And that is it. There is nothing else to it. There's nothing else for it. The whole thing in LA, you might go, well, it's about the immigrants. No, the immigrants is just the excuse. It could have been about anything. Immigration is not the reason for these riots happening. These riots were going to happen anyway. The same with BLM. George Floyd does not matter. It's why we do not care about the truth behind what happened, why we do not care about how he actually died. All they care about is the fact that there was an excuse to take up arms and start attacking people. It is why when Kyle Rittenhouse shot those 3 people, they did not care about who was actually shot or the fact that the trial showed that he was innocent. All they cared about was, this is our new excuse. Daniel Perry was also another excuse. They did not care about what happened beforehand or what the actual truth was. It was just an excuse to justify them being angry and violent and kickstarting the revolution. It is why they support gay pride and then wave Palestinian flags. Whatever is the current thing that they believe can give them a justification, they will support. And this is why it is a pointless waste of energy to say they have double standards or they're hypocrites. Because they don't care. They know they have double standards. They know they're hypocrites. They don't care. They don't believe in any of this stuff anyway. They just believe whatever they think will kickstart the next revolution. And until people start realizing that, we're going to go round and round in circles and watch the left burn everything. Stop going into these discussions with leftists thinking that they're a sane, rational human being. Stop going into these debates or discussions or interactions with the left and thinking this person has something beyond just being a revolutionary. Because every single one of them thinks they are Shay, and every single one of them thinks that once the dust settles, they will be the new Stalin who will be able to control the utopia. And once you realize that this is the delusion that they have, then you can understand why they're doing the things they are doing. But that's just my take on everything that's happening. And to be honest, it does feel like until the right understands this, we are going to just see riots, burning cars, cities in flames, while the right wing sit there and go, well, I wonder what Aristotle would say at this point. All right, that's everything from me. Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful week.